Good day to each and everyone. My name is Wendell Dayaton Jr. and today I'm gonna tackle about security audit process and methodology, which are the planning and defining the audit scope, risk assessment and vulnerabilities analysis, documentation reporting, and remediation. But first, let me introduce to you what is security audit. A security audit is a comprehensive assessment of an organization's security policies, systems, and practices to ensure they meet specific security standards and regulatory compliance requirements. It is an essential practice for identifying vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and risks within an organization's security infrastructure. The audit helps organizations strengthen their defenses, enhance their resilience, and ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of their critical assets. So while the methodology refers to the approach and techniques used to conduct the audit ensures consistency, thoroughness, and alignment with the industry standards. Planning and defining the audit scope is the foundational step in the security audit process, as it sets the direction and boundaries for the entire audit. This phase is critical because it ensures that the audit is comprehensive, focused, and aligned with organization's goals and security requirements. It also helps in effectively managing the resources required for the audit. So, basically, planning an audit is crucial because it outlines the audit's focus, boundaries, and alignment with organizational goals, ensuring a thorough and efficient security assessment. Here are the key steps of planning and defining the audit scope. Number 1. Purpose of the audit. Understanding why the audit is being conducted, the compliance, risk assessment, or security improvement, helps to define the focus areas and expected outcome of the audit. This ensures that the audit is aligned with the organization's goals and legal requirements. So there are 3 types of purpose of the audit. So number 1 is the compliance. Many industries have strict regulations and require organizations to follow specific security practices. For example, it includes the HIPAA for healthcare organizations and PSI DSS for organizations that handle payment card information. So the audit ensures that the organization is meeting the legal requirements and avoiding penalties. Number 2 is the risk assessment. Organizations conduct audits to identify and assess potential threats to their systems, networks, and data. So by understanding the risk, they can prioritize security efforts where they are most needed. Number 3 or the last is security improvement. Sometimes organizations performs audits proactively to strengthen their security posture. Even if they are not required by law, the audit helps uncover gaps in existing security policies, procedures, and controls and suggest improvements. Number 2. Defining the scope. This step involves specifying which systems, departments, and processes will be included in the audit. It ensures that the audit is focused and efficient, preventing time and resources from being wasted on relevant areas. So this is critical because it sets the boundaries for the audit and ensures that audit team doesn't waste time or resources on irrelevant areas. Number 3. Selecting standards. Choosing the relevant standards or frameworks, the ISO 27001, PSI DSS, and NICT, provides a structured approach for measuring security practices. These standards guide the audit process and ensures that the best practices and regulatory requirements are followed. So, selecting the standards for the audit determines the frameworks or guideline that will be used to measure the organization's security policies, controls, and practices. These standards provide a way to assess the effectiveness of security measures and ensures that they meet industry best practices. Number 4. Assigning roles and responsibilities. Defining who is responsible for each part of the audit ensures clarity and efficiency. It also makes sure that all participants are aligned and can effectively contribute to the audit process. So this step ensures that everyone involved in the audit understand their roles and responsibility. Clear role assignment makes sure that the audit more organized and efficient. Number 5. Setting timelines and resources. Defining the timeline and allocating the necessary resources, the budget, tools, personnel, is essential for completing the audit efficiently and within scope. This step ensures that the audit is conducted on time and without exceeding available resources. So defining the timeline and allocating resources ensures that the audit is completely efficiently without compromising quality. Number 6. Identifying constraints. Recognizing any limitations or the limited access, third-party restrictions, or budget constraints allows for better planning and helps avoid unexpected issues during the audit. It helps in adjusting the scope as needed without compromising the audit objectives. So, constraints are focus that could limit or affect the audit process, and these need to be identified early on to prevent daily delays or challenges. Risk assessment. Risk assessment is the process of identifying and evaluating potential risks or threats that could impact an organization. The goal is to understand the likelihood of this risk happening and the consequence they could have. So, in short, this process or identifying and evaluating potential risks that could affect an organization, aiming to understand both the likelihood of this risk occurring and their potential impact. So, what is the purpose of risk assessment? Number 1 is to identify risk. It helps to identify what could go wrong and where the organization might be vulnerable. This could include risks like the cyber attacks, system failures, or natural disaster. So, it detects potential threats and vulnerabilities that could harm the organizations like the cyber attack, system failures, or natural disaster. Number 2, the evaluate potential impact. Once risks are identified, the next step is assessing how much damage they could cause. This includes financial loss, damage to reputation, loss of sensitive data, or even legal consequences. So, this assess the damage risk could cause, such as financial loss, reputational damage, loss of data, or legal consequences. Prioritize risk. Not all risks are equal. Some are more likely to happen and could cause more damage than others. A risk assessment helps prioritize which risks need more attention and resources. So, recognize that some risks are more likely or damaging than others, helping to allocate resources and attention effectively. The steps in assessment. Identify assets. What system, data, or processes are important to protect? So, identify assets is determine which system, data, or processes are critical to protect. The identify threats. These identify what could go wrong, such as cyber attacks, system failures, or human errors. The identify vulnerabilities. Pinpoint weaknesses in system or process that could allow risk to occur. Evaluate impact. Assess the potential damage if a threat were to materialize. The last one is prioritize. Rank the risk based on their likelihood and potential impact, and addresses the most critical ones first. Vulnerability analysis is the process of identifying weaknesses or gaps in organization system that could be exploited by attackers. Unlike risk assessment, which looks at overall risk, vulnerability analysis focuses specifically on technical flaws or vulnerabilities that could allow a threat to succeed. So, vulnerability focuses specifically on technical flaws that could allow threats to succeed. So, what is the purpose of vulnerability analysis? Identify weaknesses. This could include outdated software, weak password, unencrypted data, or misconfigured system. So, it detects technical flaws or gaps such as outdated software, weak password, unencrypted data, or misconfigured system. Fix vulnerabilities. Once vulnerabilities are identified, the goal is to address them by patching software, configuring rules, etc. to reduce the chances of exploitation. So, fix vulnerabilities, address identified vulnerabilities by applying the patching software to reduce the risks exploitation. So, steps in vulnerabilities analysis. Scanning system. Use automated tools to scan system for known vulnerabilities such as missing security patches. The manual review. Perform a manual review to spot vulnerabilities that automated tools might miss, such as complex configurations or organization-specific issues. Categorize vulnerabilities. Classify vulnerabilities by severity, the critical high, medium, and low, to prioritize fixes. Remediation. Apply fixes by installing patches, updating software, adjusting configuration to eliminate or minimize vulnerabilities. Risk assessment versus vulnerability analysis are related. They serve different purposes. Risk assessment focuses on evaluating the overall risks to an organization, taking into account external threats like hackers or natural disasters, and internal vulnerabilities, weaknesses in system, processes, or people. Vulnerabilities analysis, on the other hand, focuses specifically on identifying and addressing the technical weaknesses within the application and network. So, risk assessment evaluates the overall potential threats and vulnerabilities to an organization, considering both like external factors like hackers or natural disaster, and internal weakness like system and flaws or human error. Vulnerabilities analysis, however, zooms in on identifying and fixing specific technical weaknesses in systems, applications, and networks to prevent exploitation. Documentation, reporting, and remediation. Documentation. Documentation involves recording all details of the audit process, including identified risks, vulnerabilities, and security controls. These steps ensures transparency, accountability, and a reference for future audits. The key elements of documentations are the audit scope and objectives. Clearly outline what was assessed, including system, departments, and compliance standards. The assessment methods. Document how the audit was conducted, vulnerability scanning, interviews, penetration testing, identified risk, and vulnerabilities. Provide a detailed list of all the discovered security gaps, their severity, and potential impact. Evidence collection. Include logs, screenshots, and reports from security tools to support findings. Recommendations. Document suggested fixes or improvements to address security gaps. The recording. The audit report communicates findings to management, IT teams, and compliance officers. It provides a summary of security weaknesses and recommends corrective actions. The key components of a security audit report are executive summary, a high-level overview for senior management highlighting major security risks. detailed findings, in-depth analysis of each vulnerability, including risk levels and potential impact. Risk prioritization. Categorize issues such as critical, high, medium, or low to help organizations focus on the most urgent problem first. Compliance gaps. Identifies areas where the organization fails to meet industry security standards. Recommendations and next steps. Actionable solution to mitigate risk and improve security posture. Remediation. Remediation involves taking corrective actions based on the audit findings to fix vulnerabilities and strengthen security controls steps in remediation process. Prioritizing issues. Focus on addressing the most critical and high-risk vulnerability first. Develop a remediation plan. Assign responsibilities to IT teams, allocate resources, and set deadlines for fixes. Implement fixes. Apply security patches, update configurations, improve access controls, and strengthen policies. Monitor and test. Verify that vulnerabilities have been resolved through risk scanning or penetrating testing. Update policies and training. Revise security policies and provide staff training to prevent similar issues in the future.